Good afternoon, it's just 20 to 1 on Sunday the 2nd of December. I've come back over to the little River Leam today and I'm having a little bit of a wandering day, as you can see. I have got a chair with me though, because I do plan to sit down in one or two of the other swims. We've had an awful lot of rain over the last few days and I thought I'd come and see whether it's pushed the river up a little bit more at long last, which it has done. It's certainly cleared a lot of the leaves from this back eddy that were here the other day. Anyway, I'm on the same outfit as I was last time. It's got a test curve of between £1 and £1.25 and it's perfect for this sort of thing. I've got a centre pin. I've changed the line on here and I've gone down to £3, but I've got the same float on here at the moment. I've got a 3 number 4. I might need to change that, go up to a 4 number 4. The flow isn't that much stronger, but it's certainly a little bit. And I've spaced the shotting out shirt button style down towards the hook, and I've changed the hook to a size 16. And I've just brought maggots with me today. No other bait except for maggots. That's all I'm fishing with today, and I'm just going to start at the road bridge here instead of ending up here, and I'm going to work my way downstream, and I'm going to have a dabble here and a dabble there in some of the swims and see what we can get. I've got a tin of maggots with me. I didn't bother with a bait box, just put a few in a tin because I won't need many. Put a few out there now and a couple on the hook. I'll start with 2 on the 16. Surprised there isn't anybody else over here at the moment. Anyway, I've got the depth at just about 2.5 foot at the moment. I'm going to adjust that as I go along. It's a nice upstream wind here at the moment. Perhaps a little bit too strong, holding the float back, but we'll see if we can get that to run down. Still not a strong enough flow for any other types of float at the moment. I don't need fish with any chubbers or Avon type floats. But I shan't spend too long in each swim. Missed it. Except if I start catching a lot of fish. I've got a seat with me, and what I'll do is I'll sit myself down on a seat if I get into a decent pocket of fish. Got to watch it here because there's branches sticking up from out from the other side, so if you go too far you'll catch on the branches. And all around here, just to where about the end of the rod is where I'm standing, there's branches there as well. That makes it a little bit trepidatious casting. Yeah, I think we'll move on. There's not much flow here. I'm back in the swim where I fished the other day now. It's amazing, all that rain and it still hasn't got that much flow on it really. Putting 3 or 4 maggots at the head there. I thought it would have an awful lot more flow on it today. Still, it was so low. The problem is we get so much abstraction over here. Right, let's drop that in. There's a little bit of interest. It's amazing, you often think that by fishing the maggot you get bites a lot quicker, but it's not necessarily so. There we go. Little dace, first cast. Interestingly, I was watching an episode of The Old Country with Jack Hargraves. This is in relation to me nearly blanking carp fishing the other day and being saved. And Jack was fishing on a lake, and he was fishing with Dave Swallow from Dave Swallow Custom Tackle. He used to make centre pins, very good centre pins. I've got one of his kicking around somewhere at home, very free running. And Bob James used to use them on Passion for Angling as well. But anyway, I'm digressing. The thing is that Jack Hargraves was talking about the fact that Dave Swallow was fishing a water that he knows quite well and normally would expect to do well on it, and he didn't. He didn't catch anything, he blanked. So, but the term that Jack Hargraves used was water whacked, was the term they used to use when they'd not caught anything. And now of course we just refer to it as blanking. It's quite funny how terms change over a course of time, and the English language does as well. Just going to move that one shot up a little bit. Oh, little roach. Be interesting to see today as well. The size of the fish that we catch compared to when we're fishing the bread the other day. Good fun on light tackle. Right, we'll move. I was just going to fish one of the swims a bit further up that way, but those high winds have brought down a load of trees, so it's rendered it unfishable at the moment. So I'll have a little go here instead. Oh, here comes the rain. There was no rain forecast today. There we go. Oh, fell off. Chub. Little chub. I hope the rain does hold off, because there's a few little places I did actually want to have a dabble here and there. I don't really want to get wet. Throw a couple of maggots in. Yes, if you got the time and the patience and you don't mind this sort of thing, it can be quite a good couple of hours spent, especially in the colder months when other species such as barbel and tench aren't available. You don't have to have a lot of equipment, and makes a pleasant change from pushing that barrow around the fishery. Here's one. Staying on this time. Whoops. I spoke too soon. Away it went again. It's alright, I couldn't swing it in because of the branches there. I was just going to move, but these fell off. Let's try a single mag up. Same principles as if you're fishing on a big river. Just make sure that the bait's in front of the float when you cast in, and that your line stays behind the float when you're trotting down. Missed it. Getting a bit of interest anyway. I was going to move, but I'll have another run down or two, I think, while I'm getting a couple of bites. Yeah. It's amazing, you wouldn't think there'd be 3 fish in this part. And the small dace. Right, we're going to try another swim. Right, I'm just going to slide down and see if I can get in at the edge here. Whoops. That's not as firm as it was last year. and I'm going to have a trot down that far side. There's a bit more flow down there now than there has been of late. As you can see, there's an awful lot of branches everywhere that have come down in these high winds. Somebody's float over there, a bit careless. Don't know how deep it is, but we'll leave it at that. We'll have a trot down a minute and see how we get on. Flows right over the far bit there. What bit of flow there is. See if I can shoot it across a bit further. It's better. It's cleared off quite a bit here, but it is so shallow still. Used to be one of my favourite swims on here. You could always be guaranteed a good net of fish on here. If you remember, I fished it last year. But all this tree and stuff's fallen down here now into the water. It's completely cut off the flow. Everything's built up behind the tree there. Yeah, and further down from me there's an entire tree right across the river there, caught one of the big ones. You don't want it looking like a suburban park, but you do need a little bit of work carrying out. Well, I've just worked my way across to this little pool here. I've wandered down the rest of the river, and to be honest, it's quite pitiful really. The high winds have brought an awful lot of trees down across the river. It was bad enough before, but it's rendered an awful lot of it unfishable at the moment. I've had a dabble in one or two little spots, not done any good. But there's a little run in here, a nice, there's a tree has gone across here, and looks to be a few cabbages down there. There's a tree branch in there, but I would have thought there might have perhaps been a fish or two lurking somewhere in here. Looks reasonably deep actually. I'll drop my float in and see if anything happens a moment. Let's go and try the pool at the end. Oh, here I am. I'm just having a try in this particular little pool here when I'm not getting caught up on everything. Yes, most of the rest of the river has unfortunately got trees lying across a lot of it. Not very good at all. Obviously come down in those high winds. Oh well, just a little bit of a nibble. So quiet today here on the river. Just there we are. Ooh. Lively little roach. Right under my own bank here. I'll fish on for a few minutes if we can get a bigger one. Still, with all the rain, it would have chilled the river off quite a bit. Would have been better in a day or two, I suppose, but can't all pick our days, can we? So but it wants an awful lot more water yet. I think I might head to a bigger river next week, do a bit of piking, roach fishing and piking, I think. Oh, there it goes, kingfisher, just gone through there. Don't know whether the camera caught it. Hear him calling again now. I saw it up at the road bridge when we first arrived. It came hurtling through before I got the camera set up. Yeah, I'm afraid it's just an incredibly slow day today. Got a little bit of interest. Oh, I'm just going to shallow up an inch or two. Let's see if that does the trick. Here it is, the little culprit. Tiny little dace. You'd have thought those perch that I caught from here before would be straight onto these red maggots. Tiny little dace. I'll have a couple more casts and I think I'm going to head for home. Up we come. Oh, peas in a pod, aren't they? Although they're coming with a little bit more regularity now. I keep hoping something a little bit larger is going to put in an appearance. It's more like pole fishing. Just holding it back against any current that there is. Oop. Still, it's proving to be a bit of fun. It's one of those occasions where you're thinking to yourself, I just keep catching these small ones like this, and then you just hope any minute that the next bite will be, and away it goes. So I don't think it is today, but be nice. Does sometimes happen. Must be quite a shoal of them down there now. Well, blimey. Get down to a single maggot again, I think. It's interesting, I've caught, oh, there's a little one jumping down there. I've caught dace, I've seen chub in here, and I've caught roach, perch, dace now from here, and I did see a decent fish the other time when I was fishing over here, rolled over there. So it's quite an eclectic mix of fish. But I think I'll have one more trip over here this year, and that'll be it then. After the rain we get this week, I'm going to come back when it's had some more rain through it and have another go, but I think that'll be it then. I'll move on. Pastures new. It's too much of a sorry state of affairs for my liking. I've got some wonderful memories of fishing over here with my two brothers, and as I said, I had my biggest ever chub from here, which was just over £5, or biggest ever chub at one point in time, just over £5. But the average sort of fish was around, you know, between £2 and £3. Although you wouldn't catch lots of them, you'd normally get a couple during a day over here, and a lot of other fish as well. But most of the swims now that I used to fish are completely unfishable, so it's not really worth the petrol and the effort of coming over here. As I said, I'm going to have one more day over here, probably going to fish this pool. We're getting a lot of rain this week, and I think it might be worth coming back and quiver tipping this pool then again for a decent perch or a chub.